When does smart roster construction become psychological warfare against your fiercest enemy? Listen up, because what's unfolding in Los Angeles right now isn't just another off-season transaction, it's a calculated surgical strike designed to simultaneously strengthen your own arsenal while crippling your most dangerous adversary. The Dodgers, fresh off hoisting another World Series trophy, aren't content with simply being champions. No, they're going for the jugular, and their target is wearing San Diego Padrez colors. We're talking about Robert Suarez, the two-time All-Star closer who's been absolutely dominant, and the Dodgers are reportedly circling like sharks who've detected blood in the water. Fabian Ardaya and Katie Woo of The Athletic just dropped a bombshell that has the entire National League West holding its collective breath. Los Angeles has also shown interest in former San Diego Padres closer Robert Suarez, a source said, seeking to go for a shorter-term deal with a higher average annual value for the two-time All-Star, who has a 2.91 ERA over the last 4 seasons. Let that marinate for a moment. The reigning World Series champions, who already possess one of the most talented rosters in baseball history, are actively pursuing their division rivals closer. This isn't just roster improvement. This is strategic domination at its most ruthless and brilliant. Before we dive into the Suarez sweepstakes, we need to address the elephant in the room. The Tanner Scott experiment was an unmitigated disaster. The Dodgers brought Scott in last winter with high expectations, envisioning him as the lockdown closer who would slam the door on opponents in the 9th inning. Instead, they got inconsistency, blown saves, and performances so concerning that by the time October rolled around, the organization had completely lost faith in his ability to handle high-leverage situations. Think about how catastrophic that failure was. The Dodgers, a team that prides itself on analytical rigor and strategic planning, had to pivot to Roki Sasaki, a starting pitcher, as their closer during the postseason. Now, it worked out beautifully because they won the World Series, but that's not a sustainable model. You can't build a championship-caliber bullpen around hoping your starter can moonlight as a closer when the pressure reaches its peak. The Scott situation exposed a fundamental vulnerability in the Dodgers' construction. Despite all their offensive firepower, despite their rotation depth, despite their defensive excellence, they couldn't trust their bullpen when it mattered most. That's the kind of weakness that haunts organizations in the postseason, the kind of flaw that transforms sure victories into devastating defeats. Los Angeles learned a brutal lesson. You cannot rely on bounce #exclusive report. Dodgers' $80 million power play could deliver ultimate gut punch to Padres. When does smart roster construction become psychological warfare against your fiercest division rival? Listen up, because what's unfolding in the National League West right now isn't just another free agency transaction. It's a calculated act of baseball brutality that could fundamentally reshape the balance of power in one of the sport's most intense rivalries. The Los Angeles Dodgers, fresh off hoisting another World Series trophy, aren't content with simply being champions. No, they're preparing to twist the knife deeper into their San Diego Padres rivals by potentially ripping the heart out of their bullpen and transplanting it into Dodger blue. We're talking about Robert Suarez, the two-time All-Star closer who's been absolutely dominant for San Diego, and according to Fabian Ardaya and Katie Woo of The Athletic, the Dodgers are circling like sharks who've detected blood in the water. This isn't just roster improvement, this is strategic devastation disguised as free agency. Let's rewind to last winter when the Dodgers made what seemed like a brilliant move, signing Tanner Scott to shore up their bullpen. On paper, it was exactly the kind of aggressive, forward-thinking acquisition that's become the Dodgers' trademark. In reality, it was a disaster of epic proportions that exposed a vulnerability nobody expected from baseball's most well-oiled machine. Scott didn't just struggle, he imploded. His performances were so catastrophically poor that the Dodgers, in the middle of a postseason run, had to make an unprecedented decision. Hand the closer's role to Roki Sasaki, their prized starting pitcher. Think about that for a moment. The organization was so desperate, so lacking in reliable late-inning options, that they fundamentally altered their entire pitching strategy just to avoid putting Scott in high-leverage situations. Sure, it worked. They won the World Series after all. But Winning despite a glaring weakness doesn't eliminate that weakness. It just postpones the reckoning. And now, as the Dodgers front office conducts its offseason autopsy, one conclusion has become crystal clear. They cannot, under any circumstances, enter next season relying on Tanner Scott to bounce back. Hope is not a strategy. Prayer is not a plan. The Dodgers need certainty, reliability, and dominance in the ninth inning. And Robert Suarez represents all three wrapped in a package that comes with the added bonus of absolutely crushing their biggest rival's spirit. Let's talk cold, hard facts, because Robert Suarez's resume reads like a Closer's Hall of Fame application. Over the last 4 seasons, he's posted a 2.91 ERA, the kind of consistency that makes general managers weak in the knees. But that's just the surface-level brilliance. Dig deeper, and the numbers become even more impressive. 76 saves over the last 2 seasons. Let that sink in for a moment. In today's game, where closers are managed with surgical precision and save opportunities are distributed based on matchups and analytics, accumulating 76 saves in 2 years isn't just good. It's elite tier, upper echelon, absolutely dominant performance. Suarez doesn't just get outs. He obliterates opposing hitters with a combination of devastating stuff and ice water composure. His fastball explodes through the zone with velocity that makes hitters' bats feel like toothpicks. His slider breaks with the kind of sharp, late movement that generates swings and misses even when batters know it's coming. And his command, his ability to locate pitches in high-stress situations with runners on base and the game on the line, is what separates good closers from great ones. The projected contract, 4 years, $80 million, might make some teams hesitate. That's $20 million per year for a reliever who'll throw maybe 65 innings annually. But the Dodgers aren't some small-market franchise counting pennies and hoping for bargains. They're a championship organization that understands a simple truth. You cannot put a price tag on reliability in the ninth inning. You cannot quantify the psychological advantage of having absolute confidence that when you hand the ball to your closer with a 1-run lead, the game is over. For Los Angeles, $80 million isn't an expense, it's an investment in championship infrastructure. It's insurance against another Tanner Scott disaster. It's the difference between hoping your bullpen holds up and knowing it will. Here's where the Dodgers' approach reveals the sophistication of their front office thinking. According to Ardaya and Wu, Los Angeles is seeking to go for a shorter-term deal with a higher average annual value. This isn't random preference. It's calculated strategy based on multiple factors that demonstrate why the Dodgers consistently outmaneuver their competition. First, shorter-term deals with higher AAV provide flexibility. In 4 years, the baseball landscape will look completely different. New stars will emerge, current aces will decline, and market dynamics will shift in unpredictable ways. By avoiding the 7- or 8-year megadeals that can cripple franchises, the Dodgers maintain the financial maneuverability to adapt, to pivot, to strike when opportunities arise. Second, higher AAV on shorter deals often appeals to players who value maximizing their earning potential during their prime years. Suarez is 34 years old, not ancient for a closer, but certainly aware that his window for elite performance and maximum earnings is finite. A 4-year, $80 million deal pays him like the elite closer he is right now, rather than betting on what he might be at 38 or 39. Third, and perhaps most importantly, this approach allows the Dodgers to remain aggressive in future free agency periods. They're not locking up massive portions of their payroll in long-term commitments that limit their options. They're maintaining the financial firepower to continue adding elite talent year after year, creating a sustainable model of championship contention that doesn't rely on 1 or 2 massive gambles paying off. It's the kind of strategic thinking that separates good organizations from dynasty builders. The Dodgers aren't just trying to win next year. They're constructing a framework for sustained excellence that can weather individual player failures, unexpected injuries, and the inevitable unpredictability of baseball. Now, some of you are probably screaming at your screens right now. What about Edwin Diaz? He's the best reliever on the market. Why aren't the Dodgers going after him? Valid question. Diaz is, by most objective measures, the premier closer available this winter. His stuff is electric, his track record is exceptional, and his ceiling is as high as any reliever in baseball. So, why are the Dodgers apparently prioritizing Suarez? The answer, as Ardaya and Wu explain, comes down to two critical factors: the qualifying offer and financial range. Diaz has a qualifying offer attached to him, which means any team that signs him must surrender draft pick compensation to the New York Mets. For most organizations, that's a significant deterrent. For the Dodgers, who've built their farm system into one of baseball's best developmental pipelines, giving up draft capital is a cost they'd prefer to avoid. But the bigger issue is financial. Diaz is likely outside of the Dodgers' desired range, which tells us everything we need to know about how Los Angeles is approaching this decision. They're not being cheap. Remember, they're willing to pay Suarez $20 million per year, but they've clearly established parameters for what they consider reasonable value for a closer, and Diaz's expected contract apparently exceeds those boundaries. This is where organizational discipline separates championship franchises from perpetual also-rans. It would be easy for the Dodgers to say, "We're the Dodgers, we have unlimited money, let's just sign the best player available regardless of cost." But that's how teams end up with albatross contracts that limit their flexibility for years. Instead, Los Angeles has identified a player, Suarez, who provides 90% of Diaz's production at potentially 75% of the cost without the draft pick penalty. That's not settling. That's smart business. The rivalry dimension that makes this delicious here's where the story transcends pure baseball operations and enters the realm of psychological warfare. Robert Suarez isn't just any closer. He's the Padres' closer. He's the guy who's been shutting down Dodgers rallies for the last 2 years. He's the face San Diego fans see when they think about late-inning dominance and clutch performance. And the Dodgers are preparing to steal him. Think about the message this sends. Los Angeles just won the World Series, just proved they're the best team in baseball, and their response is to identify their biggest rival's most valuable bullpen piece and rip him away. It's not enough to beat the Padres on the field. The Dodgers want to dismantle them, to strip away their competitive advantages, to ensure that San Diego's path to contention becomes even steeper. For Padres fans, this would be absolutely devastating. Suarez has been their security blanket, their ninth-inning insurance policy, their answer when the game is on the line. Watching him walk across the diamond and put on Dodger blue wouldn't just be losing a player, it would be a gut-punch reminder of the financial and organizational disparity that defines this rivalry. The Dodgers can simply outspend, outmaneuver, and out-execute their division rivals. They can identify what makes you competitive and take it away. They can win the World Series and still find ways to make your offseason miserable. That's not just roster construction. That's dominance as a form of psychological torture. As we move deeper into the offseason, the closer market is beginning to take shape, and the Dodgers' interest in Suarez reveals their understanding of market dynamics and timing. By targeting Suarez now, before the market fully develops and prices potentially escalate, Los Angeles positions itself to strike quickly and decisively. Free agency is often a game of chicken. Teams wait, hoping prices will drop. Players wait, hoping offers will increase. Agents posture, general managers negotiate, and somewhere in the middle, deals get done. But the teams that win championships are often the ones willing to act decisively when they've identified their target. The Dodgers have clearly identified Suarez as their guy. They've done their homework, analyzed his performance, evaluated his fit within their system, and determined that he represents optimal value at the closer position. Now, it's just a matter of execution, making the offer compelling enough to secure his services before another team swoops in or the market dynamics shift. The 4-year, $80 million framework provides a starting point for negotiations. Will it take more to close the deal? Possibly. Are the Dodgers willing to go higher if necessary? Almost certainly. But by establishing their interest early and clearly, They've positioned themselves as the frontrunner in a market that could become increasingly competitive as other teams address their bullpen needs. Beyond the numbers and the rivalry dynamics, there's a question of fit that matters tremendously. Would Robert Suarez thrive in the Dodgers environment? The answer, based on everything we know about both the player and the organization, is an emphatic yes. Suarez has already proven he can handle the pressure of closing games in a major market. San Diego isn't Los Angeles in terms of media scrutiny and fan expectations, but it's not a small market backwater either. He's pitched in meaningful September games, handled playoff pressure, and demonstrated the mental fortitude required to succeed in high-stakes situations. The Dodgers' infrastructure, their coaching staff, their analytics department, their player development system, is arguably the best in baseball. They've consistently taken good players and made them great players and made them elite. Their track record of maximizing talent through data-driven insights and cutting-edge training methods is unmatched. Imagine what they could do with a closer who's already elite. The refinements they could make to his pitch mix, the matchup advantages they could exploit, the situational strategies they could deploy. It's the kind of optimization that could transform Suarez from a very good closer into a truly dominant generational force. And culturally, the Dodgers have built an environment where winning isn't just expected, it's demanded. Every player who joins the organization understands that individual statistics matter less than championship rings. That kind of culture, that relentless focus on collective success, tends to bring out the best in players who are already wired for competition. Suarez has demonstrated throughout his career that he's exactly that type of competitor. He doesn't just want to get saves, he wants to dominate, to prove he's the best, to shut the door so emphatically that opposing teams feel demoralized before they even step into the batter's box. That mentality aligns perfectly with the Dodgers' championship DNA. Of course, free agency rarely unfolds exactly as predicted. While the Dodgers may be targeting Suarez, they're undoubtedly exploring alternative scenarios and contingency plans. That's what smart organizations do. They identify their primary target but maintain flexibility to pivot if circumstances change. If Suarez's price escalates beyond their comfort zone, who else might the Dodgers pursue? The reliever market features several intriguing options, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. But based on the reporting from Ardaya and Wu, it's clear the Dodgers have established specific parameters. They want proven performance, they prefer shorter-term deals with higher AV, and they're willing to pay premium prices for the right fit. That framework eliminates certain players from consideration and elevates others. It suggests the Dodgers aren't interested in project players or reclamation cases. They want established, elite-level performance from day one. They're not looking for potential, they're looking for certainty. And if they can't get Suarez, they'll find someone else who fits their criteria. Because that's what championship organizations do. They don't panic, they don't overpay out of desperation, and they don't settle for suboptimal solutions. They execute their plan. And if Plan A doesn't work, they move seamlessly to Plan B with the same level of confidence and strategic clarity. Here's the bottom line. Folks, the Dodgers' pursuit of Robert Suarez represents everything that makes them baseball's most formidable franchise. They've identified a critical weakness from last season, analyzed the market for optimal solutions, targeted a player who provides elite performance at reasonable value, and positioned themselves to deliver a devastating blow to their biggest rival in the process. This is championship-level roster construction executed with ruthless efficiency. This is an organization that doesn't rest on its laurels after winning the World Series. It immediately identifies how to get better, how to eliminate vulnerabilities, how to maintain dominance for years to come. If the Dodgers successfully sign Robert Suarez, they'll have accomplished multiple objectives simultaneously, upgraded their bullpen with proven excellence, avoided the draft pick penalty associated with Diaz, maintained financial flexibility for future moves, and absolutely crushed the Padres' competitive spirit by stealing their closer. That's not just smart baseball, that's organizational dominance as an art form. And for the rest of the National League West, it's a terrifying reminder that the Dodgers aren't just trying to win championships. They're trying to build a dynasty so overwhelming, so relentlessly excellent, that competing against them feels futile. The next few weeks will reveal whether Los Angeles can close this deal, whether San Diego mounts a desperate counteroffer to retain Suarez, or whether another team emerges as a surprise contender. But one thing is absolutely certain. The Dodgers know exactly what they want, they know exactly what they're willing to pay, and they're executing their plan with the kind of precision that's made them baseball's gold standard. Robert Suarez in Dodger blue, slamming the door in the ninth inning while Padres fans watch in horror? That's not just a signing, that's a statement. And in the cutthroat world of championship baseball, statements matter. What's your take on this potential power move? Will the Dodgers land Suarez and deliver the ultimate gut punch to San Diego? Or will the Padres find a way to keep their closer? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and smash that like button if you love watching the Dodgers play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. This is the kind of strategic brilliance that separates champions from pretenders, and we're witnessing it unfold in real time.